Okay, this year for the new house, for the Christmas light stuff, I'm converting from 1/2-inch PVC pipe to some steel Jchannel. So I already have a bunch of magnets mounted around the house that are countersunk. So these kind of go up like this. And then the Jchannel essentially just clicks like that to the roof. So this is what you see from the front. I'll be painting the magnets the same color as the trim, so they can't really be seen. So next up is creating a jig to hold the Jchannel so that I can drill it every 2 inches for the pixels. So just got some 8-foot section of some type of kind of painted, primed wood from Home Depot. Gonna cut this to 2.5-foot sections. Create the jig. I'll kind of take a couple pictures and small capture the videos through there. But essentially this will kind of go like this. There'll be a deep side on the back here with this other piece of wood that'll come up here, and then another one on the front. So then we'll drill a hole for the dowel for the spacing. And yeah, wood cut now. This is a little over a 8-foot stick. So I cut each stick into 32 inches long. We got a little bit extra over here, which is fine. This will be the bottom. But essentially, we'll be putting the jig together something like this. You can kind of see down here how it'll work. Here's our Jchannel. Again, this is all rough so far, but it'll essentially sit like this. We'll have our dowel down here at the end, and then we'll set it up to where the drill press will be 2 inches from this hole. So that way when this is here, you take the drill, you take this, you butt it up against this, that'll put your hole about 1.5 inches from this side, drill your hole, put it on the dowel, now you're 2 inches, and then everything you do is 2 inches going down. So I hope that makes sense. I'm gonna mock this up right now and get it all ready to glue and nail. Okay, I got a little bit of liquid nails here on one piece. And then I got the nail gun here as well, so I'll put these two together. Again, just zap them together and be back in a second. A few nails, there's about 5 in this piece right here with the liquid nails. Try to make this as flush as possible, as this will be sitting on the drill press. But yeah, this is the first piece. That'll go like this. And we'll put that other piece back there. So that's up next. Okay, we're back. Here's our jig. You will see that this bottom piece is not as wide as I wanted it to be, and this kind of overhangs. Doesn't really matter. This is not holding much weight. It's again just kind of making sure everything's square as you slide it down. But this will go in here. It's not tight. It's also not loose. Has a very small bit of slop. It's really hard to see, but I didn't want to have it too tight because this is actually the finish that will be on the house. This matches the trim. So I didn't want this to get all scratched up. As you can see, there's a bunch of glue that's on there. So I went ahead and wiped away all the glue here. I'll let this dry before we actually go ahead and use it. I will begin to drill the hole here for the dowel next. But essentially, you have your J trim that'll slide all the way in here. This is just keeping it straight and square. It goes down. Again, we'll have a dowel right here. Got to cut this next, glue it in there, and then this dowel's 1/2 inch, which is pretty close to the what size drill bits am I using here? I got a couple different size drill bits this year. Last year I used 1/2 inch and it was fine. They're a little loose. So this year I'm going to try 31/64 and 15/32. Again, you're just trying to get that nice kind of pop into there, not too tight, since you have to push thousands of pixels. But yeah, I'll play around with the piece of J trim and see which size hole I like, and then I will use that going forward. But okay, I'll get that dowel cut up and inserted here in a minute. And okay, so here we got some calipers. I'm just trying to figure out how wide this this channel is, and it's damn near one inch exactly. Pretty hard to film and do this, but yeah, it's like 9.9950 essentially. So we'll just round that up to an inch, and then I'll mark the 1/2 inch point there. Drill in probably about 1/2 inch or so, and then that'll be where our dowel goes. Sorry, that's a pretty... Okay, we got that drill hold, and we put the dowel in here. I cut that dowel down fairly deep, or fairly short, sorry. It doesn't need to be that deep. Again, this is what happens here. This slides down. So this is one, the first thing this is a stop, right? This will stop here. That's your centering point. So you always will drill the same location from the end of your J channel into the first hole. And that first hole is then drilled. Again, you'll just pick this up, push that onto your, then hole, and then drill again. So these will always be the same hole spacing going all the way down the J channel. So this is pretty much done. The last thing I will do though, we'll measure out. I use a 2-inch pixel spacing. So I'll measure from the center of this dowel out 2 inches on the what do we call this thing? On the jig, sorry, brain fart there. And then I will drill a big hole here, probably whatever size I can get down there. That way when I come through with the drill press, we're not drilling any of the wood. It'll just be the J channel going forward. So I'll do that. Maybe I'll run this real quick through the drill press and see how it works. Here, this is again where the drill press will come down and drill through the J channel. So at this point in time, my jig's done. Yeah, I'll send this little strip down here. I'll get it all mocked up real quick in the drill press, check it out, and see how it works before we getting into the big pieces, the big 10-footers. Drill press with the smaller drill bit. I think that was 30 seconds. Put a couple pieces of just small aluminum here because I didn't want the clamps to deform the wood. Last year I actually used a piece of angle iron with the clamps there, and I used that to be a flat surface for the jig, but you end up holding all the weight down here because the pipe sticks out and so forth. So this year I'm trying to actually clamp the jig to the drill press, and then I'll just move the J channel through the jig. So right now it's completely self-supported. That could change with a 10-foot stick, but unsure at this point in time. So again, here's the jig set up. I'll run this guy through here in a minute, but again, this will just kind of go here. It stops there. There's my 2-inch spacing from the center of this hole to the center of this hole. It is pre-drilled, so I can just kind of go through. Doesn't need to be, but it is. That's how I do it. And then yeah, we'll just drill that, pick it up, move it forward, and go forward like that. It's like I actually have to probably set the table down a little bit so I can move this a little bit easier. So I'll do that and then drill it and come right back. Problems. First problem is, of course, this is a 1/2-inch dowel and we're using a 30-second drill bit. So of course, the hole is smaller than the dowel, so I can't go more than one hole here. Second problem actually is pretty interesting. Not too sure if it'll come through the camera, but I drilled that hole bigger because I did it with with last year's PVC pipe. This is last year's pipe, a little kind of V channel with the pipe sat on. This is a 1/2-inch stud, and then those were drilled bigger. The issue though is the sheet metal actually kind of flexes really bad. I think it's coming through the camera there. So that extra hole is actually getting pushed around, kind of like a dimple around that, and I actually don't like the way that looks. So I'll probably end up starting here and then just cutting this off right here. So we'll lose this 2 inches. I'll cut this flat, put another 1/2-inch dowel here, and I'll actually just use this hole. I'll use this to actually be the hole, so I won't actually make it any bigger. That way the sheet metal does not actually deform. So, learning as we go. Okay, we're back. This video is getting a little longer than expected here. It's supposed to be pretty quick and easy, but this is what we had. That's how it was. This hole's messing everything up, so got rid of that. This is our 1/2-inch hole again. Here's our dowel. This dowel has been ground down just a little bit on the outside, kind of more like a taper. So essentially this kind of comes through. We'll push this through since the bottom is still 1/2-inch. I'll probably use a little bit of liquid nails on that just to kind of keep it in there. But this is our old hole. The hole size is correct, but again, it has that kind of dimple around the outside, which That would drive me crazy, you know. So we'll cut this off again, just try again. But now with that hole size there, that thing fits down there really nicely. It's really hard to show, but there's literally no wiggle on that at all. I got really lucky with sanding that down. So that'll be our new hole that we put on and go forward, and we'll give it a shot again. So I have to measure out my 2 inches from here, mark it, and then I will not actually drill a hole here. I'll actually use that size drill bit to when I do the first hole to actually drill through. That'll keep it nice and flush, and it should prevent it from doing that kind of dimpling it that it's doing there. So let's give it a shot. Okay, I used the kind of big 10-foot stick here I had with that jig, also pushed some pixels through it. And yeah, came out great. Spacing looks good. These pixels are pretty crappy. I got these from Amazon as a real quick test. Probably 3 years ago, and just have a bunch of these laying around. Definitely do not recommend pixels for your Christmas light show from Amazon. Ray Wu and there's another guy, Paul Zhang. Those are the 2 guys I get my pixels from. Ray Wu will do actual custom pixels, meaning if you want pixels, you know, 100 feet long with 3-inch spacing for the first 10, 6-inch spacing for the next 10. He'll do any customization at all. I completely recommend measuring your pixels, what you need beforehand, and ordering what you need. It just saves time. You're spending just a couple dollars more per strand, but you know, you can go from installing pixels in a prop from 10 minutes to an hour if you have to kind of solder them and extend the wires, or take a group of 50 and kind of group them back together. So everything I do is kind of custom made. I'll draw all my props out that I need, figure out the length, and then have that stuff ordered through Ray Wu. Paul's great. Paul will not do that kind of customization, at least last time I ordered from him last year. He would just do individual spacing. You know, if you wanted a 2-inch wire in between each pixel, he can do that. But to kind of get those custom spacings, he couldn't last year. Maybe that's changed, but yeah, this works good. I'll probably just cut that pixel wire off right there, take it outside, clip it to the magnet, and kind of do a little recap real quick, and we're done. I threw the Jchannel up there. Takes literally 8 seconds. A couple of clips, magnets pulled up, and you're good. Doing that with the PVC would be very difficult because it is so flimsy. Yeah, I'll kind of hop up the ladder real quick just to show, but this is what we'll be doing this year. Oops, sorry, crappy video. But essentially, there's your magnet. That'll be painted the same color as the trim. That trim color to the eye is very close to that Jchannel. The camera makes it look a lot different, but could even leave these up all year. We'll have to see how it works. But yeah, here's a shot from the bottom. That's of course because it's not tucked in or anything, but yeah, pretty happy. This will be what we end up doing for all hundreds of feet that we need. Any questions, let me know.